routinely outing me as American before on stage, which I find rude, personally. But that's okay because there's someone from Arizona here, so I'm not the shittiest person, so that's exciting. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm not sorry. I'm gonna keep going. Before the world ended, I worked as a bartender. I was not good at it, but that's okay because this is the Netherlands, so it doesn't matter. That's not really a slow burn of a joke, but I appreciate that you eventually got there. I have to say, as an American, I feel like the Dutch approach to service is, what's the word I'm looking for? Genius. Genius is the word that I'm looking for. I think it's incredible. I know you guys get a lot of shit for it, but I love it so much. Because in America, when you work in service, you live on tips, right? So your relationship with your customers is super unhealthy. So like if I was serving you in America, this is how it would go, okay? Like you'd come in and I would be like, hi guys, how are you doing? Are you doing so good? Are you having like a really good night? Are you having a really good time? Okay, great. So guess what? Fun fact, I'm gonna be your server tonight. Right now. I know, it's exciting, so you're gonna come with me. So we're gonna go over here. So tell me, are you having like a special occasion or is it just a regular Friday? It's just a regular one? Good for you guys. Keep the magic alive. Okay. So we're gonna go over here, you're gonna take a seat, and so tell me, what can I get started for you? Do you want like French fries? Do you want a soda? Do you want me to dance for you? Do you want to hit me with your car? Because that's on the table if necessary. Whereas in the Netherlands, you can rock up to a table like, hey, what's up, motherfuckers? These are the menus. Now listen to me. We both know I don't need you. So why don't you tell me what you want? And I'll spend tonight deciding if I want to bring it to you. I think it's amazing. I love it so much. There are other jobs where I feel like maybe being Dutch lends itself a little bit less well to success, okay? Just a tiny bit. Just hear me out. Like the way my Dutch therapist talks to me. I don't want to call it bullying. But it's pretty fucking close, okay? Like at my first appointment with her, my intake appointment with her, I started crying and she just looks at me and she goes, you have a lot of feelings, don't you? That is a real thing my Dutch therapist said to me. And I was like, okay, I get it, Annemieke. You miss your usual Dutch appointment, right? Where Jordan comes in and he's like, Annemieke, I've had a terrible week. And she's like, what happened, Jordan? And he's like, I almost had a feeling. She's like, I'm so sorry, can you tell me what happened? And he's like, well, I was cycling, and this woman kept getting in my way. And so I yelled at her in Dutch, and then she yelled back at me in English, and I realized she was American. And it's like, how will she know I think she's a cancer whore? I just don't like it. I can't compete with that. Another job I feel would be like super complicated here would be being a Dutch police officer in charge of missing persons reports. That would be so hard. Like I come in and I'm like, you have to help me, my Dutch boyfriend, he's missing. And they're like, okay, can you tell us about him? I'm going to pretend that didn't happen. This is fine. I handle this well. They're like, can you tell us about him? What's your Dutch boyfriend like? And I'm like, okay, he's like 1.9 meters tall. And he has perfect bone structure. And they're like, ma'am, that's everybody. So you're going to need to be more specific. And I'm like, okay, he has like light brown hair. And it always looks like he like just got off a bike, you know? And they're like, again, that's not helpful. You have to be more specific than that. And I'm like, okay, he works for Rabobank. Is that helpful? And they're like, great, I guess we'll just write down Rabobank. Okay. And I'm like, oh, no, I know something super specific about him. It's like every time I talk to him, I just get the sense that he just thinks he knows better than me. And they're like, all right, so we'll just write down Dutch. That's super helpful. I'm aware as an American, it's crazy for me to make fun of Dutch people, right? Like, that's insane. That's so crazy. And I just want to say, this is all I have. Please, everybody here, I need this right now, okay? I am hanging on by a fucking thread. It's a trip growing up in America, because they tell you things like, we're the greatest country on earth. And you're all gonna go out and you're gonna take over the world because you're amazing. And then you turn 18 and you go to Europe for the first time and you're like, I'm from America and we're the best. And Europeans are like, oh, honey. Okay. One upside is I do feel like I'm finally identifying with my grandparents, which is kind of nice. Like all 4 of my grandparents immigrated from Europe. They all came to America from extreme poverty in search of better opportunities, better jobs, better life for themselves and their children. And now, barely 2 generations later, I am writing exactly the same letters home that they wrote, you know? I'm like, October 30th, 2020. Dear Mother, I will try to bring you and Father over as soon as possible. I know you're trapped in the home country. Don't worry about me. The bread is plentiful in Europe, and the people are very tall. I will try to send money home on Sunday, provided the plague doesn't take me before that. It's a cool time to be alive. I have to say, I love Dutch people. I truly do. I feel like Dutch people understand the difference between nice and kind, which is very important to me, okay? This is like a dichotomy that has mattered for my whole life. Americans are nice, but they're not kind, okay? Americans will have a 20-minute conversation with you in the lobby of the bank, and then they will vote to take away your health care. Dutch people will tell you to your face that you're an ugly bitch. But they will die for your right to be an ugly bitch with health care. That's a very big difference. It's very important. Yeah, I'd rather be miserable and alive here than dead in America. So, what are you gonna do? I also, when I moved here about 2 years ago, I was single for a little bit, but I have since accomplished the real American dream, which is tricking a Canadian into loving me. That's exciting. My mom is like very feminist. She didn't change her last name. I have a hyphenated last name. She refused to let my dad propose to her. She doesn't wear a ring. They like basically got married for tax reasons. And she's always been like, you're not gonna, give yourself over to a man. You're gonna be a legally independent woman. And then I started dating a Canadian. She was like, go bitch, go, get that ring. Poke a hole in the condom, I don't care. I was like, that doesn't sound very feminist, Mom. I don't know. She's like, Trump might be in office for 8 years. Organized feminism is over. It's every woman for herself. Okay? My boyfriend is 10 years older than me, which means I get to play a fun game called going out in public, making out with him, and then calling him Dad. He hates it. He's not a big fan of it. I can't look too hot when we go out together, because otherwise it looks like he hired me. But that's not that much of an issue, I have to say, it's strange when this is like the first really good relationship I've ever been in. It's been like a year and a half, we live together. It's confusing dating a good person when you've only dated idiots, you know? Like I've only dated morons or assholes, or more likely, moron assholes, which is a fun combination. But now my boyfriend is like a competent, kind adult. And the first night I spent at his house, we were up until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning talking. And then he was like, listen, no pressure at all, but you're welcome to spend the night if you want to. It's just like really late. And I would hate for you to have to walk home at this hour, you know? And I was like, oh, I know this game. No pressure. Just because it's late, yeah, sure, Canada, whatever. And so then I sauntered into his bedroom and he handed me a set of pajamas. I was like, what are you, running a hotel? And then I realized, oh, he wants me to feel comfortable. Like, what kind of mind game is that? You know, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I've adjusted relatively to being in a good relationship, but now I have to deal with the fact that my friends are in shitty relationships. And that's super annoying. That remains constant because it turns out most people are idiots who settle for less than what they deserve. As a child, most of what I was worried about was getting kidnapped. Shouldn't have been worried about that. I was an ugly kid. It wasn't a real thing. I got cute like 2 weeks ago. And it's because I dyed my hair and figured out eyeliner. You have no idea what I actually look like, okay? It's all fake. If you have big red hair, no one looks at your face. It doesn't matter. I work with Tim every night. He wouldn't recognize me. Shouldn't have been worried about getting kidnapped. What I should have been worried about is what I call the asshole trap, which is where your dear friend complains to you about how their boyfriend is an asshole. And then they get mad at you when you think that their boyfriend is an asshole. What is that? That doesn't make any sense. It's infuriating. I have a very strict policy, okay? I don't talk shit about my boyfriend with anybody. Any issues between me and my boyfriend are between me, my boyfriend, and my therapist. And by therapist, I mean whatever bartender is forced to serve me when I'm drinking alone on a Wednesday. Because as I covered before, my therapist hates me. So that's not really a thing that I can talk about. I'd be like, my boyfriend hates me. And she's like, me too. Get over it. You know? I'm just very frustrated right now. I'm very angry because I'm sick of having these conversations, right? Where like my dear, smart, beautiful friend calls me crying. And she's like, he broke my heart, and he cheated on me, and he treated me like shit. And I cry with her over the phone. We sobbed together. She's like, Daniel's an asshole, and I'll never get over it. And then a week later, I'm like, listen, you're beautiful, you're independent. Let's go to the movies together. Let's get over Daniel together. And she's like, great. Is it okay if Daniel comes with us? I don't know what to do about that, you know? I'm like, isn't Daniel an asshole? And she's like, Daniel is my lifeblood. He is my soulmate. He's never done anything wrong in his life. And if you hate him, I hate you too. I know that joke went on too long. I'm still workshopping it. The real gist here is I'm just mad at my friend Sarah. So, sorry about that, everybody. I used her real name, but I can't put this on Instagram. Well, what was the point of me performing tonight? Anyway, I have to say, I think I'm also like extra judgmental because my relationship is great. No laughs for that. I appreciate. I don't. Oh, sorry, man. You talk a lot. Actually, wait. You're the one who's been to jail, right? I'm going to focus on this part of the audience and I forget what my face looks like. The important thing is I'm in a good relationship for the first time, which is very exciting. My boyfriend is so sweet, and that has actually kind of caused problems that I didn't see coming, because he's adorable, and it actually means that I'm kind of losing my identity a little bit. It's really weird. Because, right, I work as a bartender, I'm a comedian, I own 4 separate leather jackets, okay? I identify as a tough person. This is important to me, okay? I kind of sold that joke out by getting scared of the prison guys. I'm a tough person, okay? But at home, my boyfriend doesn't care that I'm tough. My boyfriend calls me Muffin. And he refers to our bed as the muffin tray. Because that's where little muffins sleep, you know? And it's super jarring to get home from a shift of yelling at people, you know? I'm like, who are you? What are you doing? Don't talk to me like that. Don't hit on me and be an asshole. Come home, I slam the door, take off both my leather jackets. And my boyfriend's like, is that a little muffin? And I'm like, it's me, a muffin, I'm home. Anytime I'm out of bed during the night, my muffin's like, what's that muffin doing out of her tray? And I'm like, I'm a muffin, I have to go to my tray, I'm so tiny. How many kisses does a muffin need? I don't know, is it 1,000? So that's upsetting, and it's really made me rethink intimidating men in my life. You know, like my boss, my scary German boss. I think about him in a totally different way now. Because my boyfriend's 10 years older than me. He wears suits to work. He carries a briefcase. He fires people all the time. Maybe too often. All the time, okay? And he's adorable at home. Now I know my scary German boss. He's this big dude, he's got a beard, he hates me. He's always like, Olivia, you are so bad at your job. And you are so stupid. And I would fire you in a second if labor laws did not prevent me from doing so. But now I know, I'm sure of it. He goes home from work, slams the door, takes his beard off. He goes to his girlfriend and he's like, you are such a tiny bursty, you know? You are so small and you kiss all 10 of your toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You probably got home from prison. You were like, I've killed a man, but now I'm like, oh, you are adorable. 1.5 years? How many people did you kill? It doesn't matter. But I have to say that things have really gotten out of hand for me during quarantine because at least before this, I left the house, right? So I was like 50% badass, 50% muffin. But now I never go anywhere, so I'm just what you might call a full-time muffin, you know? All right, that's gonna be my time. Please don't kill me. You've all been amazing.